The fog on Elderwood Bridge. In the heart of Elderwood Forest lay a forgotten bridge, shrouded in mystery and silence. Known simply as Elderwood Bridge, it spanned a narrow ravine with a shallow river cutting through its bottom. Few people knew about it, and those who did rarely spoke of it. There was an old saying in a nearby town, "The bridge remembers." No one quite knew what it meant, but it was enough to keep most people away. Over the years, hikers and campers had reported strange occurrences near Elderwood Bridge. Some claimed to hear whispers floating through the mist, while others spoke of shadowy figures lingering near the bridge at dusk. Once, a young couple had disappeared after wandering out to the bridge, never to be seen again. But as the stories faded into myth, the bridge became a forgotten relic of a darker time, until Peter Jenkins came to town. Peter was a local journalist with a knack for uncovering the truth behind eerie stories. He'd recently moved to Elderwood, hoping for a change of scenery, and the townsfolk had welcomed him warmly, telling him all the local legends. When he heard about Elderwood Bridge and the whispered rumors surrounding it, his curiosity was piqued. "People around here don't like to talk about it," an old man had told him in a hushed voice. "That bridge, it has a way of keeping people. Best you stay clear of it." Peter brushed off the warnings, dismissing them as superstition. He'd spent his career debunking ghost stories, and he was sure this would be no different. He decided to investigate the bridge himself, imagining the story he'd write once he uncovered the truth. It was late in the afternoon when he set off for the bridge. The sun was low, casting long shadows across the forest floor as Peter made his way along the narrow path. The trees were dense, their branches interlocking overhead, blocking out most of the light. The deeper he went, the quieter it became, until he could hear nothing but the crunch of leaves under his feet. At last, he reached a clearing, and there it was, Elderwood Bridge, standing silent and untouched, as though waiting for him. The structure was old, its wooden planks worn and gray with age. A thick mist clung to the bridge, curling around the railings and spilling into the ravine below. There was something eerie about it, but Peter shook off the feeling and stepped onto the bridge. The wood creaked underfoot as he crossed, and for a moment, he felt a strange sense of weight pressing down on him. The mist seemed to grow thicker, swirling around his feet, and he thought he could hear a faint whispering sound, almost like voices drifting through the fog. "Hello," he called out, half joking, but his voice sounded hollow, swallowed up by the fog. The whispering grew louder, and Peter felt a chill run down his spine. He stopped in the middle of the bridge, straining his ears to listen. The voices were soft, but he could just make out words, a single phrase, repeated over and over. "Come, stay." Peter's heart skipped a beat, but he forced himself to stay calm. He was here to debunk the stories, not fall victim to them. He took out his camera, snapping a few photos of the mist-covered bridge, but as he did, he noticed something strange. In the corner of each photo, there was a shadow, a tall, dark figure that hadn't been there when he'd looked through the viewfinder. He quickly reviewed the photos, each one showing the figure standing closer and closer, as if it were moving toward him. Peter felt a surge of fear, but he brushed it aside. It was probably just a trick of the light, he told himself, or an anomaly caused by the fog. But then he felt it, a presence, standing just behind him, close enough that he could feel a cold breath on the back of his neck. Slowly, Peter turned, and there it was, a figure shrouded in darkness, with hollow eyes that seemed to pierce straight through him. Its face was pale, almost skeletal, with skin stretched tight over sharp, angular bones. It reached out a hand, thin and bony, its fingers curling as if beckoning him forward. "Come, stay," the figure whispered, its voice like dried leaves rustling in the wind. Peter stumbled back, his heart racing. He tried to speak, but his voice caught in his throat. The figure took a step closer, its eyes unblinking, fixed on him with an intensity that was almost hypnotic. Without thinking, Peter turned and ran, racing across the bridge and back into the forest. He didn't stop, even when he heard the whispering grow louder, filling his mind with a chorus of voices, all saying the same thing. "Come, stay, you belong here." He ran until he burst out of the forest and onto the main road. His heart was pounding, his breath coming in short gasps, but he didn't look back. He couldn't shake the feeling that the figure was still watching him, lurking in the shadows, waiting for him to return. For days after, Peter tried to put the experience out of his mind. He convinced himself that it had been nothing more than an overactive imagination, fueled by the eerie setting and the stories he'd heard. But at night, when he lay alone in the darkness, he could still hear the whispering, soft, insistent, calling to him from the depths of his mind. Come back. As the days passed, Peter became increasingly withdrawn. He stopped going to work, stopped talking to friends, and spent his nights staring into the darkness, listening to the whispers. They were growing louder now, filling his mind with images of the bridge, the figure, the mist swirling around him. At last, he couldn't resist any longer. One cold, foggy night, he found himself standing at the edge of the forest, staring down the narrow path that led to Elderwood Bridge. He told himself he was only going to prove that it was all in his head, that there was nothing there. But deep down, he knew that he was going back to the bridge, because he couldn't stay away. The forest was silent as he made his way through the trees, the fog thickening with each step. The bridge appeared before him like a ghost, its dark shape looming out of the mist. And there, standing in the center, was the figure, waiting for him. Come, stay. It whispered, its voice echoing through the fog. Peter felt a strange calm wash over him as he stepped onto the bridge. The figure extended its hand, and this time, he took it, feeling an icy chill seep into his bones. As he looked into its hollow eyes, he realized, with a strange sense of relief, that he had finally come home. The next morning, a group of hikers found Peter's phone lying on the bridge, covered in a thin layer of frost. The photos were still on it, each one showing the figure growing closer and closer. But there was no sign of Peter, only the faint whisper of voices, drifting through the mist. Now, the townsfolk say that the bridge has taken him, just as it has taken so many others. And if you listen closely on foggy nights, you might hear his voice, calling out from the shadows, waiting for the next person to cross. Come back, stay with us, forever. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more.